She threw her champagne in my face at our anniversary party, then screamed, "You're not even her real father!" The crowd froze. My daughter looked away. My wife smiled like she just won a damn Oscar. I wiped my face, raised my glass, and said into the mic, "And that, folks, concludes the last scene of this pathetic marriage. My name is Marshall Denton, and 2 months ago I was a man with a mansion, a marriage, and a daughter I would have taken a bullet for. Now, I've got a go bag, a burner phone, and a lawyer who answers my calls at 3 a.m. I co-founded Vexon Security back in 2006. Started with nothing, just a refurbished van and a homemade brochure. Built it into a $14 million company by designing surveillance systems for high-end estates. Irony, huh? I made a living protecting people from betrayal, and didn't see it boiling in my own damn kitchen." The unraveling started on our 20th wedding anniversary. Dana, my wife, threw a catered gala in our backyard. String lights, jazz trio, fake smiles. Our daughter Blair, 19, home from college, barely looked up from her phone. I thought it was stress, or boredom. What it really was? Disdain. They both had it, refined and rehearsed. Dana gave a speech before dinner about sacrifice, hard work, and the man who supported her career. I stood there, grinning like a ventriloquist's dummy while she winked at a man across the lawn, a man I didn't recognize. Yet, after dinner, she toasted me. Then she toasted second chances, new beginnings, and soulmates, and clinked her glass with that same guy. I asked who he was. She said, "A friend," with a smirk. That night, Blair posted a pic of the three of them on Instagram. Caption, "Real family." The next morning, I opened her laptop. Yes, I snooped. No regrets. Found emails, hundreds, between Dana and the man, Wesley Thorne, 41, her publishing consultant. He wasn't just consulting her book. There were pictures, hotel receipts, even a scanned sonogram. A sonogram. I locked myself in my office. My hands shook as I called Jerome Maddox, my attorney and longtime friend. "You still owe me for that DUI, I said. "I'm cashing in." He didn't even ask why. "What do you need?" he replied. "Everything," I said. We initiated Plan Razorback the next day. I'd drawn it up years ago. Hypothetical, just in case. I thought it was paranoia. Turns out, it was prophecy. Within 48 hours, Jerome froze our joint accounts. I redirected Blair's tuition trust, secured my company shares, hired a forensic tech team to mirror all Dana's devices. Within 5 days, I had enough data to blackmail a Supreme Court judge. But I didn't want revenge. Not yet. I wanted exposure, and so I waited. Then came the champagne. I'd planned the party video to be archived privately, but after the stunt Dana pulled, humiliating me in front of investors, neighbors, and Blair, I uploaded it to our family cloud. Our connected devices automatically downloaded it. 2 hours later, Dana's iPad started playing it on loop in the kitchen. She tried to pause it, couldn't. Every time she closed the app, it reopened, on screen, her and Wesley, kissing in our guest bathroom, moaning over a half-deflated air mattress like two desperate teenagers. She screamed. Blair ran in. "Mom! What the hell is that?" Dana didn't answer. Her face went sheet white. That night, she tried to log into the bank. Denied. Credit cards? Declined. Blair's car? Towed. I canceled the lease. I didn't pick up their calls, but I watched them on camera. Live feeds from the system I installed. Hidden mics in the hallway, infrared in the living room, voice-activated backups. You'd think the founder of a surveillance company wouldn't spy on his family. But when your family sets you on fire, all bets are off. Then came the note. Slipped under my condo door. "Please talk to me. We can fix this." Dana attached? A positive paternity test, not mine. Blair wasn't my biological daughter. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't cry either. Instead, I scheduled a breakfast meeting with Wesley at Denny's because I wanted syrup and chaos. Wesley looked nervous when I slid into the booth. He tried to shake my hand. I didn't move. "You got 5 minutes," I said. "Start confessing." He blinked. What? I slid over a flash drive. "That contains footage of you, multiple locations, multiple women, not just my wife. Oh, and also the embezzlement. Your offshore accounts are adorable." His jaw dropped. "You've been spying on me?" "Just auditing," I said, sipping my coffee. "You're a write-off." Then I leaned in. "You're going to disappear. You're going to refund every cent Dana spent from my accounts. You're going to ghost her, block her, and if you even think about contacting Blair, you'll wish it was the IRS knocking. His hands were shaking. You can't do this. I smiled. I already did. I walked out of that Denny's like a man walking away from a funeral, one where he buried the last ounce of mercy he had. The next day, Blair texted me. I know you're not my real dad, but I wish you were. Can we talk? And just like that, the game changed. I didn't reply to Blair's text right away. Not because I didn't want to, but because I needed to know if it was real. Dana had used our daughter as a human shield for years. If this was just another guilt trip in mascara, I wasn't biting. So, I called Jerome. She wants to talk? He asked. Yeah. Face to face? Texted me last night. There was a pause. Then Jerome said, let's record it. That night, I parked outside the old bakery near Blair's campus. Neutral, ground, public, cameras. She showed up in a hoodie and pajama pants, hair messy like she hadn't slept in a week. When she saw me, she hesitated, then walked over, clutching her phone like a lifeline. I didn't know, she said, sitting across from me at the outdoor table. About any of it. Mom lied about everything. I stayed quiet. Let her talk. She said you were controlling, that you didn't care about us, that she'd built the company with you and you just pushed her out. I raised an eyebrow. She showed me emails, Blair whispered. Made it look like you were cheating. I almost laughed. Cheating? With who? My assistant's a 70-year-old man named Carl who smells like mothballs. She cracked a smile. It died quickly. I found your flash drive, the one labeled, Emergency Backup. It was in the safe. You broke into the safe? She flushed. I was looking for my college fund. It was empty. Silence. I saw the footage. Mom and Wesley, the fake invoices, her texts with Aunt Laura about moving to Seattle and taking me with her. She called me her leverage. There it was. The crack. She lied to me for years, Blair said, tears slipping down her cheeks. And I hated you because of it. I leaned forward. You didn't hate me. You were taught to. She looked away. Can I come home? I didn't hesitate. Yes. But home wasn't our old house. That place was on the market now. Staged to look like it hadn't hosted 1,000 fake dinners and at least 2 affairs. I'd moved into a condo downtown. Nothing fancy, just clean lines and no ghosts. That night, Blair slept on the couch with my hoodie draped over her like armor. I made pancakes in the morning like we used to do on Saturdays. She didn't say much, but when I handed her the syrup, she said, "This is the first time I've felt safe in months." I almost lost it right there. Then the next bomb dropped. Dana filed an emergency motion for custody, claiming I kidnapped Blair and used surveillance tech to psychologically manipulate my family. The gall, the absolute nerve of this woman. I forwarded the motion to Jerome. He called back laughing so hard I thought he might choke. "Marshall," he wheezed. "She submitted the motion using a lawyer we both sued back in 2015. She's bleeding." Good. Let her hemorrhage. Still, we had to play it smart. Publicly, I stayed silent. Privately, I loaded the big guns. We sent the court a sealed dossier, a timeline of Dana's affair, withdrawal logs from Blair's trust, recordings of her coaching, Blair to lie during therapy, and, my personal favorite, a notarized affidavit from one of Dana's own friends admitting Dana bragged about milking Marshall dry once Blair turned 18. We also filed for a temporary restraining order. Why? Because Wesley had started leaving voicemails. First one. "I think we need to talk." Second. "Dana's unraveling." Third. "You made your point, call me back." I didn't. Fourth voicemail, just breathing. Jerome traced the number to a burner phone purchased 5 miles from my condo, so I upgraded our security. Infrared cameras, motion alerts, glass break sensors. Blair never asked, but I saw the fear in her eyes every time the door creaked. On the third night, we heard footsteps in the hallway. I grabbed the bat from under my bed. Blair locked herself in the bathroom. I flung the door open and found nothing, just silence and a faint smell of cologne. He'd been there. I called Jerome. "Move up the restraining order hearing." 2 days later, we were in court. Dana showed up in pearls and crocodile tears, claimed she was the victim, claimed I'd brainwashed Blair, that I was turning her against the only real parent she's ever known. Blair stood up. "My name is Blair Denton. I am 19 years old, and I'm here because I've spent half my life being lied to." Dana looked like someone had slapped her with a lawsuit. "Dad never told me to hate you," Blair said, voice steady. "You did that all by yourself." Then she pulled out a printout, the college fund transaction history. Dana gasped. "You stole that?" "No," Blair snapped. "You did." The judge granted the restraining order. I didn't smile. But inside, it felt like breathing after drowning. The restraining order wasn't even dry when Dana broke it. 3 days later, she showed up outside my condo building in the rain, barefoot and sobbing, mascara smeared like a cartoon villain in meltdown mode. "Marshall, please! I didn't know what I was doing! I was scared! I miss us!" Security didn't even have to call me. I was already watching her on the lobby feed. I didn't go down. I didn't open the door. I just watched, arms crossed, as she threw her wedding ring at the security camera and collapsed in a puddle of her own creation. She was escorted off the property in a yellow poncho. That should have been the end. But no. Because Wesley wasn't done. That greasy bastard had decided he was the tragic hero of this story. The Romeo to Dana's menopausal Juliet. The next day I got a letter. Handwritten. No return address. "You took everything from me. I'm going to take something from you." I handed the envelope to Blair. She read it, face blank, then said, "He's going to do something stupid, isn't he?" "Yup." So we made a plan. We didn't run. We baited him. Blair posted a fake story on her Instagram. Picture of a moving day box captioned, "Starting over with Dad. Goodbye, Denver. Hello, Seattle." Within an hour, a car followed her to the grocery store. Red Ford Explorer. Tinted windows. Parked across from the apartment for 2 days straight. We didn't call the cops. Not yet. Because I had bigger plans. I called Jerome. "Time for phase 3. He paused. "You sure? It's a nuke." "Let it fly." We called in Jackson Vega, my old college roommate turned cybercrime analyst. The guy could find out what you had for breakfast in 2008 using just your Wi-Fi router. Jackson hacked Wesley's encrypted cloud. Took him 4 hours. We found everything. Emails, call logs, GPS pings, expense reports. And then the crown jewel, a Google Drive folder labeled private that included hotel room selfies with Dana, time-stamped during Blair's high school graduation weekend. An unregistered firearm posed like it was some kind of edgy Instagram prop. A string of texts bragging about getting leverage on the old man. We also found something else. He'd taken a job, under an alias, at a charter school, as a guidance counselor. Let that sink in. I forwarded all of it to the school board, attached a sweet little cover letter from Jerome. Wesley was fired in 18 minutes, but I wasn't done. I wanted Dana to see the fall, so I invited her to a neutral meeting in a law office. She agreed, showed up with sunglasses and a fake smile, clearly, coached by whatever 2-star lawyer she'd found on Craigslist. I walked in with Jerome, Blair, and Jackson. Dana blinked. "Why is he here?" I slid a laptop across the table. Press play. It was Wesley, not just with her, but with 3 other women. One of them married. One of them a student's parent. All caught on camera. All with audio. No deniability. Dana stared, mouth open. "This is insane," she whispered. "Why would he?" "He didn't think anyone was watching," I said. "But I watch everything." She looked sick. "What do you want?" "I want nothing," I said calmly, "because you're about to lose everything anyway." Dana lunged across the table like she wanted to slap me. Jerome stood. Jackson cracked his knuckles. She stopped. "Good choice." Then Blair leaned forward. "You made me hate my dad for years. You lied about everything. You spent my future on someone who doesn't even care about you. And you knew." Dana tried to speak. Blair didn't let her. "You knew I wasn't Dad's biological kid. And you used that like a weapon." Dana shrank back like she'd been punched. "I don't need your love anymore," Blair whispered. "I'm done." Dana got up and left. No goodbye. Just the soft clatter of broken pride and high heels. But Wesley? He wasn't finished yet. That night, my condo's power cut out. Emergency backup kicked in. All feeds still active, but one camera, just one, went dark. The one at the back door. I pulled up the infrared scanner. There he was, crouched near the exit. Trying to jam the sensor, I activated the silent alarm. 3 minutes later, he was on the ground, tackled by 2 security guards and a retired Marine who lived on the 5th floor. Wesley screamed as they cuffed him. "You did this! You ruined my life!" I walked over, looked him dead in the eye. You broke into my house, threatened my family, filmed my wife, bragged about ruining me. He spat at my shoes. She chose me! I stepped back, smiled. She also chose to file a restraining order against you this morning. He stopped moving, didn't even blink, just stared like a man who realized, too late, that he bet his soul on a woman who sold him for scrap. Police dragged him out. Dana didn't. Post-bail, she blocked him instead. Wesley's arrest hit the local news by noon. By sunset, it was trending nationwide. Unlicensed counselor caught in home invasion and sex scandal. Dana vanished from every social feed. Deleted her Instagram, scrubbed her LinkedIn. Canceled her Pilates account. But she didn't go silent. She went nuclear. A week after Wesley's arrest, Jerome forwarded me an email. Sent from Dana's new lawyer, a man named Craig Fulton, who looked like he bought his law degree from a vending machine. The subject line? Settlement reconsideration. Threat of countersuit. I laughed so hard I choked on my coffee. She was threatening me now? According to Craig, Dana had been emotionally manipulated and digitally harassed by a malicious former spouse with access to invasive technologies. Oh, so now I was the villain? They demanded $850,000, half the equity in the old house, and get this, a public apology, on record, in writing, to preserve her professional reputation. I forwarded it to Jerome with 3 words. Send the IDA video. You know which one. The one where Dana sat half-dressed on a hotel bed, giggling into a glass of Prosecco while Wesley danced around in nothing but a towel, yelling, "Your husband's a moron! Cheers to free money!" Jerome sent it to Craig directly. 10 minutes later, he withdrew the proposal, but the damage was already done. Because during the discovery process for Dana's countersuit attempt, we uncovered something she'd worked hard to hide. She'd been leaking Vexen security intel to a competitor. My company. The one I built from dirt and desperation. Turns out Dana was funneling confidential tech specs and investor forecasts to a man named Elliot Sutter, CEO of a rival firm called Argon Core, and her ex-boyfriend from college. Felt like someone had cracked a baseball bat over my ribs. That's why we lost those contracts last year. That's how Argon Core beat us to the military-grade facial recognition system. I'd blamed bad timing, bad economy, bad marketing. But it was her and some smug bastard she used to make out with behind the dorms at Tulane. I threw my mug against the kitchen wall. Blair flinched. Dad? I couldn't speak. My hands were shaking. I felt violated, not just as a husband, but as a founder. As a builder, as a man who gave every waking second to a dream that now had Dana's fingerprints all over its collapse. She sold out my company, I whispered. Blair's eyes widened. What do we do? I looked at her. We go scorched earth. I called Jackson. Get me everything on Argon Core, every contract, every public bid, every shared IP signature. I want a map of their digital blood trail. Within 48 hours, Jackson delivered. And what he found was gold. Argon Core's latest flagship prototype, a thermal detection AI drone, used code lines lifted straight from Vexen's 2019 architecture. Proof of theft. Documented, time-stamped. We had them. And thanks to Dana's email chains with Elliot, flirtatious and painfully unprofessional, we could link the leaks directly to her. Jerome prepared a full IP theft lawsuit, but I didn't file it. Nope, I scheduled a meeting with Elliot instead, at Vexen HQ. In the conference room with one-way glass and 8 different cameras. I invited the board, had fresh coffee, bagels, the whole works. Elliot walked in, smug, cocky, wearing that rich boy Patagonia vest look. You called this emergency meeting? He said, tossing his coat on the table like he owned the place. Yes, I replied. Wanted to personally thank you for trying to ruin my company. He blinked. Excuse me? I slid a USB stick across the table. Everything you've stolen. Every spec, every deal, every internal file Dana leaked while smiling across from me at dinner. He didn't move. So I played the video, Dana and Elliot in a hotel room, laughing. She says, Elliot, your drones are going to crush Marshalls. Just wait till you see what I send next week. Elliot turned ghost white. Careful, I said. You're on camera. Listen, Marshall, I didn't know he stammered. Save it for the feds, I said. And then I dropped the nuke. I'm giving you 2 options, I told him. 1, you settle. Sell Argon Core to Vexen for $1, give up your board seat, disappear from this industry. Or, I smiled. I file suit, destroy your reputation, sue your investors for damages, and notify DARPA that your drone code was built off stolen data from a U.S. defense contractor. Good luck explaining that in court. He stared at the flash drive like it might bite. I want it in writing by Friday, I said. If not, check CNN next Monday. He left without his coat. By Friday morning, Argoncourt was ours. Every patent, every client. Mine. By noon, I had Dana's access badge deactivated from every system. At 3 p.m., Blair and I walked through Vexen's new executive floor. She looked around, awestruck. You really did it, she whispered. I looked at her. This girl who wasn't my blood but was more my daughter than anyone could ever understand. And I said, we did it. Then my phone buzzed. Blocked number, the voicemail, it was Dana. Just 5 words. You think this is over? The voicemail ended, and for the first time in weeks I felt something strange. Not rage, not fear, pity, because Dana wasn't threatening me from power anymore. She was lashing out from the wreckage. I played the message for Blair. She shook her head. She still doesn't get it. Oh, she got it. She just couldn't accept it. Dana always needed a win, a final word, a way to twist the knife on her way out. But now she had nothing left to twist, so she went low, really low. That weekend, Jerome called. She filed a motion to contest your guardianship rights over Blair. I blinked. She's 19. She's claiming psychological abuse, Jerome said. She wants to void the custody agreement, declare you emotionally unfit, and reopen her case to seek damages. For what? I said, laughing bitterly. For loving her daughter when she didn't? She's betting the court will want to investigate further, drag it all out, humiliate you, stall. I looked across the room. Blair was curled up on the couch with a mug of cocoa and a law textbook. My heart clenched. We weren't just dealing with a narcissist anymore. We were dealing with a cornered narcissist, and those are the most dangerous kind. Dana's court hearing was set for the following Thursday. She showed up with a new lawyer, some flashy TikTok famous guy who probably had a podcast called Alpha Legal. He strutted in like a game show host. Dana wore black, a funeral dress, as if she were mourning the family she had destroyed. The judge, a wiry woman named Linda Prescott, didn't bother with small talk. Let's get to the point, she snapped. Mrs. Denton, you are contesting a previous order signed willingly with full counsel, correct? Dana nodded. Yes, Your Honor. And you're accusing Mr. Denton of coercing your daughter to reject you? Dana cleared her throat. He used surveillance tools, manipulation tactics, and money to turn her against me. Prescott looked at Blair. Is that true? Blair stood up, eyes locked on her mother. No, ma'am. I made that choice the day I found out she drained my college fund to pay for vacations with a man who filmed her without consent. Dana's face turned gray. You knew about those videos? She whispered. I found those videos, Mom. In your Dropbox folder. The one labeled Paris Receipts, which was full of lingerie photos and a clip of you saying you were done playing house with a loser. Gasps filled the courtroom. Dana's lawyer stood. Objection, Your Honor. Overruled, Prescott snapped. Sit down. Blair took a breath. I'm not here because Dad told me to be. I'm here because I need the court to understand. This isn't a custody battle. It's a rescue mission. He didn't manipulate me. He saved me. Prescott leaned forward. I see no legal basis to reopen this case. Your petition is dismissed. Dana stood abruptly. You can't do this. You can't take my daughter away from me. Prescott didn't flinch. You did that all by yourself. Court adjourned. But as I turned to leave, Dana whispered something that chilled me. You think you've won. But I still have one thing left. What? I asked, genuinely curious. She smiled coldly. Truth. Truth? Dana hadn't spoken a single honest word since 2006. That night, Blair and I returned home. We were finally safe. So we thought, until the doorbell rang at 2:17 a.m. I checked the camera feed. No one was there, just a brown envelope on the mat. Inside, a copy of Blair's birth certificate, and a legal statement signed by a name I hadn't seen in decades, Ryder Shaw, biological father. I sat down, heart racing. Who the hell was Ryder Shaw? Why now? And why did Dana think this was the card that would ruin everything? Ryder Shaw. The name hit me like a sucker punch from a ghost I'd never met. I hadn't heard it before, but Dana had. In fact, according to the birth certificate, he was Blair's biological father. Not just a fling, he was listed as father of record, signed and notarized in a backwater town in Oregon. Dated 2 months before our wedding. I sat there staring at the page, hands cold, breath stuck somewhere between a scream and a laugh. Dana had lied for 19 years, lied to me. Lied to Blair. Lied to the entire damn world. I thought I was the fool. Turns out, I was the cover-up. She'd married me for one reason, stability, to fix her reputation, to bury a mistake. I wasn't the consolation prize. I was the cleanup crew. I woke Blair. She rubbed her eyes, then saw the document. What is this? Apparently, I said slowly, your real father's name is Ryder Shaw. She went pale. I don't know him. Neither do I. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just froze. And that's when I realized this wasn't just betrayal. This was identity theft, weaponized and detonated. The next morning, Jerome traced Ryder Shaw to a town in Nevada. He was a bartender with 3 DUIs, 2 divorces, and 0 interest in responsibility. His name was attached to a paternity suit, another one, from 2008. He didn't know Blair existed, but Dana had known. She just swapped names, faked signatures, and rolled the dice that I'd never check. And why would I? I was in love. I was loyal. I was stupid, but not anymore. I scheduled one last meeting. At Vexen HQ, Dana arrived flanked by her lawyer, wearing sunglasses like she was a celebrity hiding from scandal. Blair was already inside, sitting next to me with a manila folder. In her lap, Dana sneered. Is this supposed to intimidate me? No, I said. This is the finale. I slid a document across the table. It was a notarized affidavit, signed by Ryder Shaw, confirming he had no knowledge of Blair, confirming Dana never told him, confirming she had him sign a blank form in 2003 under false pretenses, then forged the rest. Dana's smirk cracked. Her lawyer leaned forward. What exactly are you alleging? I'm not alleging anything, I said. I'm proving she falsified government documents, lied under oath during our divorce, and intentionally committed parental fraud. Then I dropped the final blow. I've already submitted this to the DA. Dana's face fell. But here's the deal, I continued. You're going to sign full termination of all parental rights. No contact, no appeals. And in exchange, I'll ask the DA to recommend probation instead of jail time. You're bluffing, she snapped. I turned to Blair. She opened the manila folder. Inside? Copies of every forged document, a digital timeline of Dana's fake identity moves, and a confession Dana had left on an old voicemail, ranting about how Marshall's just good PR for my screw-up. Her lawyer went pale. Sign the papers, I said. Dana stared at Blair. You'd do this to me? Blair stood, voice shaking but strong. You already did it to me. Dana broke, just shattered right there. She lunged forward, ripped the pen from her lawyer's hand, and signed with a trembling scribble. That's it, I said softly. You're no longer her mother. You're just a woman we used to know. She left the room without another word. No screaming, no threats, just silence, the kind that felt like a tomb finally sealed. That night, Blair and I sat on the condo balcony. The city below buzzed, but up here everything was still. You okay? I asked. She nodded slowly. I feel clean. Like I just washed off a decade of lies. We clinked root beers like it was champagne. I pulled out the old family photo, the one we took years ago. I'd already had it digitally restored. Dana was gone from it. Just me and Blair, side by side. No ghosts, just the truth. And here it is. The finale of today's story. Did everything turn out as you imagined, or did it end unexpectedly? I'd love to hear what you think. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's dive into the discussion together. If this story kept you in suspense, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? This is your chance to join an incredible community where exciting new stories unfold every day. Click the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay up to date. Thanks for your attention and see you on your new adventures.